Eliminating the oppressed does not solve oppression. In today's video, we will be looking at Itachi Uchiha from Naruto and Zeke Jaeger from Attack on Titan. I will primarily be focusing on the two character similarities when it comes to their upbringings and their downfall, but most importantly, their ideology in eliminating the oppressed in hopes of solving oppression in their community. Beginning with the communities they were born into, in the case of Zeke Jaeger, he was born in Liberia, which is separated from Marlian and the rest of the places. In the case of Itachi Uchiha, the Uchihas were pushed back to the outskirts of the village after Obito Uchiha attacked the village. But even before this attack, noted by Orochimaru, they were already living in the margins and were pushed back because of Tobirama's decision to make the Uchiha in charge of the police force, which placed them right next to the prison. Diving into their childhoods, both Zeke and Itachi were forced to see the real world at a very young age by their father. With Zeke is when his parents take him outside of Liberia to see the oppression Eldians face by the Marlians when they walk outside the walls. In the case of Itachi is when his father Fugaku takes him onto the battlefield at the age of 6. And so we see how both these characters had to see the real world at a very young age, especially at a younger age than their younger brothers. And this will also explain why they developed the ideologies that they did, especially at a young age. And later on in their lives, both Itachi and Zeke would be used by both their clan/race and their nation. In the case of Itachi, he will be used both by the Leaf and by his father, the Uchiha clan, and be pretty much a double spy. The same case being for Zeke, who is used by both his family and by Marley. And I honestly think this is where their family/clan went wrong. They were so consumed by what the child can do for them that they didn't realize what they could do for the child. For with Zeke, that's all he wanted was to play catch with his father. And in the case of Itachi, he wanted to learn more ninjutsus from his father, but he only taught him that one and both ended up looking for someone else to fulfill this role. In the case of Zeke, this will be Tom, who was the previous Beast Titan holder before Zeke, who happened to be pro-Marlian, so he was vital in convincing Zeke to oust his parents and their resistance. But he was only able to do that because he was a father figure to Zeke, unlike his actual father, especially when he would play catch with him, and most definitely once his parents were sent away from the Marlian territory. And in the case of Itachi, this would be Shisui, who not only taught him more ninjutsus, but he was definitely like an older brother for Itachi, for he taught him and took care of him, and they had heart-to-heart conversations, ones that we never see Itachi have with his father. And he happened to be aligned with the Leaf when it came to issues between the Uchiha and the Leaf village, and was able to convince Itachi to help him to pretty much stop the coup d'etat by siding with the Leaf. Though they were highly influenced by their predecessors, I do believe that their predecessors wouldn't agree with the ideology that they came up with, which is to eliminate their own clan or their own race. Though they probably will be still supportive of them, like we see Zeke's predecessor Tom being, especially at the end. And the same can be said for Shisui when he gives his other eye to Itachi. Now, diving into these men's ideology, I started out with all that information because I believe it shows us how they came to the solution that they did. Since, as we've seen, they were made this realization of the oppression of their people ever since they were very young. And they have since seen the suffering not only of the other party, being the Marlians and the Hidden Leaf Village, but also of their own people, the Uchiha and the Eldians. For in the case with Itachi, the third Hokage goes on to state how he was not bound to clan ties, and more so making it sound like Itachi didn't care about his clan. But I would beg to differ. Like, we see him crying when he's traumatizing Sasuke, and also when he goes to kill his family. But also, when he sees Shisui being killed, even though he was on their side, I think he realized at that point that even if Uchihas sided with the Leaf, they will still be used only for their power, especially seen with Danzo when he has their Sharingans. The same can be said for Zeke when he learns of Tom's story of how he was married to a Marleyan woman, but when she found out he was Eldian, she killed both the child and herself. And Zeke genuinely believed that he is doing this for the betterment of the Eldians and not for the Marleyans, for he also knows that the Marleyans are only interested in the Eldians' Titan shifting abilities, not them as an actual people. And so with their ideologies, I believe that both Zeke and Itachi believe that they're doing this for the betterment of their people by ending the suffering of their people once and for all. For Itachi's plan is to annihilate the Uchihas, that way they can no longer do the coup d'etat. And one of his reasons for keeping Sasuke alive is that Sasuke is too young to even know of the coup d'etat. And so I could see Itachi's plan being that Sasuke generation, the younger, would not discriminate against Uchiha because they didn't grow up with the Uchiha. But then obviously, they would learn history and learn the history of the Uchiha. And I could see his other plan of having Sasuke kill Itachi to pretty much show everyone that Sasuke is not like the past Uchihas. And in the case of Zeke, his plan was to use the founding Titan power along with his royal blood to pretty much change the biology of all the aliens to make it so that they cannot reproduce. Thus, the Eldians will die out in about 100 years. And so I can also see why he didn't mind turning many Eldians into Titans, since in Titan form, they cannot reproduce. Thus, ending the suffering of the Eldians, since there won't be no Eldians to cause suffering against. But both Zeke and Itachi failed in their plans, and they both share a common reason of why they failed. They fell because of their love for their younger brothers. For in the case of Itachi, if he had also killed Sasuke, he would have succeeded in pretty much ending the suffering of the Uchihas by eliminating all the Uchihas, and also making sure that no one would dive deeper into the massacre that night. In the case of Zeke, I believe it was him being blinded by his love for Eren that he quickly trusted in Eren being on his side. The truth of the matter is, Eren and Zeke barely know each other, though they're brothers, because they grew up in different sections. Zeke grew up in Marley, and Eren grew up in Paradise Island. But I can see why both Zeke and Itachi chose to keep them alive or chose to trust them as quickly as he did. It was because, since they were young, they themselves did not get to experience childhood. And both of them at this point had not only lost their physical, blood-related family, but had also lost their predecessors. But at least when it came to their blood parents, they did receive solace or even love and affection from them at the end. In the case of Itachi, before he goes on to kill his parents are fine with the decision he made and told him to just take care of Sasuke, and even explains how their pain is quick, but they know that Itachi will suffer from killing them and his claim for the rest of his life. And when he's reincarnated, he even gets to reconcile with Sasuke. In the case of Zeke, he reunites with Grisha, his father, in the realm, where Grisha goes on to apologize to him for what he put him through, and also state that he loved him. Thank you for checking out this video, and if you were really into this video, I will highly recommend my previous video, which deals with the connection between Eren Jaeger and Sasuke Uchiha. Other than that, thank you, and have a great day, week, month, year, decade. Bye!